Hi everyone, Daksh this side, and as Sanket mentioned, I'll be moderating our current session on IT and software industries here in India. With me, I have two fine alumni. The first one being Rahul Prayakar Rao. He graduated from the first batch that ever graduated from our department, and he's currently senior product manager at Gainsight. Hey Rahul, can you give a cheers to everyone from your side?
Hey everyone, good morning and good evening.
Cool. Cool, cool. Thanks. And this second person alumni we have on the session is Abhinay Bingumala, and he is a 2014 graduate from our department, currently working at Microsoft as a level 2 software development engineer. I'll be handing over to Rahul, and he'll be talking about his journey and his experiences. So, Rahul, over to you.
Thank you, Daksh. Um, so I would like to keep this casual. I got a set of guiding questions, which I thought I'll take them as my cue cards, and I'll discuss how my journey has been so far, right from the time I joined NIT Warangal in the biotech as a first batch student until now, where I'm working as a senior product manager with Gainsight. Uh, I would definitely say it was not a planned decision right from the first step until now, but it was not. It was I didn't leave my career to uh, luck or outside chances. What I did was I took a set of informed decisions at various points in time, which led me to where I am right now. In that regard, I don't want to talk much about why I chose biotech. Since everyone here is already here, I would like to focus on what I did next to land up where I am right now. Uh, so I also, when the BAM team reached out and asked me to share my internship experience, I didn't lay it out. Uh, I did, I think, a couple of internships, one with forensics department in Hyderabad and Biological E Limited. I didn't mention that because it is not relevant for me anymore. Uh, why that happened was, again, comes down to the informed decisions that I took. Uh, during After finishing my third year, I started thinking what I would like to do next. I was a typical 7 pointer when I was in NIT Warangal. I was chilling most of the time, studying 1 or 2 weeks before the exams and stuff like that. I was playing Counter Strike. I missed that. um, so when I thought about my options, the one option that I could zero in at that point in time after finishing my third year was going for MS, because I didn't see any opportunities within biotech in India, whether it be higher studies or to get a good job with a BTech degree in biotechnology. So I prepared for my GRE. I wrote my TOEFL. I started zeroing in on admissions, in how to apply, what colleges to apply. When a set of companies came in, Infosys, TCS, CTS, and also opened their job offers even for people that are not in CSE or even ECE or uh, the top 2 or 3 branches at that point in time. So I s- so I, like many of other biotech students, said, why not? Let me give it a try. So I got an offer from Infosys. Then again, I had to take an informed decision. I had to choose whether to go for MS in biotech or switch my career. And at that point in time, it felt right for me to choose software because I was not good at what I was doing with the stream biotechnology. Uh, I was not passionate about it. Sorry if people here in this forum are, but I was not. So again, I had to decide whether I want to stick with software at that point in time, even before taking the decision. That is when I thought management would suit me better. So my goal before joining Infosys as a systems engineer was to be there for 2 years, get enough experience, and go do an MBA and switch into management. Again, it didn't pan out that way. I stayed with Infosys for 4 years because I tried for CAT for 2 years. I didn't get through. Then I had to again make an informed decision, switch my gears. I gave my GMAT. I got a pretty good score. I got multiple offers within US. That is when I did my MBA with University of Arizona. It was a 2-year full-time course with specialization in entrepreneurship. Uh, so that is where I want to go. So the talk that happened just before this was also useful for me, guys. So so after doing MBA, what next? What exactly in management field was a question that came up. And I thought at that point in time, product management was something that was in vogue. I tried to understand what it was. So at this point in time, I also want to stress on the impact uh, or the guidance that I received from my peers or from my seniors. So what I would like to tell the people who are attending this call is network, guys. Network as much as you can, meet new people, try and understand what each and every one of them are doing in their roles. It may be software, it may be a PhD, it may be anything. If you want to pursue something in that career, try and meet as many people as you can in that industry. Learn from their experience. When I say network, just don't go say hi and leave it there. Try and understand their career, come up with good questions, connect with them on LinkedIn or attend any sessions that they are attending. Try and get the complete perspective. When you want to do something, be passionate about it. That's all I would like to say. So I started getting passionate about product management at that point in time after meeting a few of my seniors who moved from MBA into product management. So that was my turning point there. So I worked in US for 1 year. I didn't apply for H1B. I came back to India. And since then, I have been working as a product manager. So that is how I ended up being a product manager. I am very, very passionate about what I'm doing right now. I love the work. I love the company that I am with right now. I didn't end up with Gainsight first up. I had to gain a lot of experience, expertise in what a typical product manager would do, whether it be a platform product manager or an application product manager. So that is where I'm right now. If anyone has any questions until now, please post them on Zoom chat. I would also like to explain a few more details about what a typical product manager does in a software company, and probably that would help a few of you to make a decision on whether you want to be a product manager in the future.
Okay, great. So let me do something. Let's hear it from Abhinay as well, and
Sure.
then we can take all the questions at the end of the board talks. Right. Thank you, Rahul, for sharing your experiences and the journey so far. Abhinay, are you there with us?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Daksh.
Hey,
Can
good
you
to
guys
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah, you're audible perfectly. Cool. The stage is all yours, or the screen is all yours. Uh,
Okay, cool. So basically, I've been graduated in 2014. To sum up my experience in NITW, I have only one word. It was awesome. So I mean, like, so for the initial 2 years, like, I have done nothing. As in, like, I used to play games, watch movies and stuff and all, but I I have not done much on all. So at the end of 2 years, right? So I have seen some of my classmates or peers, like, basically in the summer break they have done some internships. Then it was like, okay, so they are I I got felt like something and all. So then I went ahead and then was looking for some internship, some kind of internship. Then luckily I was able to do one marketing internship with Myobera. Then after that, again applied for another internship at Internshala, and then I was able to do two marketing internships. And at the end of third year, right? So I was mailing for biotech core internships abroad and then in India also. And luckily enough, like I was able to get IAS internship. uh, so that's it. Like I had my shares of like failures and then success at NIT Warangal also. Like sometimes like I used to bunk the classes. Like at one time what happened was like when I bunked the class, we actually went to watch a movie, Chiranjeevi's movie. Funny enough is like so next to us, like our prof also was sitting there. So I don't want to name the professor name, but it was very funny, as in like bunk the class, and even our professor was also bunking the class, and then he was just sitting to us. Like it was a shock for me also. Like then I had my share of scoldings from him and all. Like, why are you bunking the classes? All that kind of stuff and all. At the end of like 4 years, like when it was about placements, right? So after 4 1, like I didn't get placed in any of the company. Like I was shit scared. Like what is going on? Like okay, I have a decent enough pointer. So what is happening and all? So I was shit scared. And then luckily enough, like I was able to get into United Health Group. So initially, when the company came, it was not open for biotech. So then we went to the panel and then convinced them that can you open it for biotech as well or not. So then, so then they opened it and then they shortlisted out of 350 people. Only 20 people were shortlisted. I was lucky enough like to get shortlisted into those 20. And then like it was about all about IT. Being from biotech, like I had nothing. I had no knowledge of what to answer, like some kind of coding and all. So all I had the knowledge was like how to write a for loop and all, which we had studied in first year. Like I don't remember that even that also during the interview time. Okay, so I was like, okay, let's try it out. What will happen and all. So in the interview, like so the interviewer understood that I am not from core CS background and all, but he was majorly the interviews were about the leadership skills and then behavioral skills and all, like how you would tackle and all. So so that was during the interview. Like he saw my resume and then he was asking like, okay, you have done 2 marketing internships and 1 biotech internship. And he was like, okay, so you have core experience, you have a good pointer, and you have done marketing. Now why do you want to do IT? So so that was a very valid question from his point of view. So I had to support that. So then I was mentioning him like, sir, just like in your in your presentation, so you are mentioning that you need candidates with multiple all-rounder skills and all. But now, since I have those skills, now you're questioning those skills. Like it was like, okay. Then he understood that uh, I'm interested in the job and all. Then he was understanding like, what do you think is more important, whether soft skills are important or the IT knowledge is important for doing coding stuff and all. Then I was explaining him that soft skills are more important when compared with IT skills. Given a chance that we can uh, grow the IT skills and all, we can learn them, but if you don't have soft skills and all, so it will be very difficult. So I was supporting my answer, telling him that recently a Stanford survey was done and these were the percentages and all. And more about on the line, like he was asking different questions related to that and all. And finally he asked me like, oh, okay, so now you're saying that you have applied for an IT job. So what do you think that our company does? Okay. So when he was giving the presentation, so I actually didn't even attend the presentation. So I was telling him like, okay, I have seen one YouTube video like wherein like people make some software and then doctors give inputs on all for any particular disease. They will be getting the corresponding medication for that. Even if doctor knows that, it is just that that software will make ensure that if he is having some kind of allergy on all, it is best just to basically like validate his hypothesis and all. So he was satisfied with that particular answer and all. So it's just that like when you are applying for jobs and all, right? So whatever you talk, right, you just have to support your claims, whatever you are talking about. So I have done a core internship and I have done a marketing internship. I was some those had actually mattered. And then he was asking like, why did you apply for a core internship? Then I was like, okay, when I have applied, I have actually applied for a bioinformatics internship. So bioinformatics contains Perl programming language. So supported him that saying that, okay, I'm interested in Perl, so I'm interested in coding and all. So that way I was able to support my claim on all. Okay. So I was fortunate enough to get selected. Then my journey started in United Health Group. After a period of like 2 months of training, there was a rigorous training of in Java and all, and Spring, Hibernate, different frameworks which I have never heard of. Then after all the training, they have put me into manual testing. So I was there about like 8 months in manual testing. It was like nothing like you open the pages and then you write the things in Excel. Like you click this button, you input this ABCD and then special characters. So it was like kind of a boring stuff, I thought. And then I proactively spoke with my director, and then he gave me a chance to move into automation. So then I learned something and then showed him in the automation. Then after that, like I gave one I got one call from Amazon for the interview. So I went there. Like once I went there, like he asked me some question. Okay, so some algorithm question. I was like, okay. So he asked me some question, and then I was like, okay, now what should I do? I had literally no clue about like what to do there, because we were never taught about CS fundamentals, all those things. Right? So I had no clue what to expect and all. Then he was like, okay, can you try to solve this? So I thought like this is some kind of a puzzle, and then try giving some answer. Like I failed very badly. Then after coming from the interview, then I understood that okay, so there is something called as algorithm. There is something called as data structures that we have to learn if you want to survive in this IT industry and all. So that is when I just started reading about things and enrolled in Coursera, and then did some courses related to the computer science fundamentals, algorithms, data structures, so those kind of stuff. And then I actually built one app. So it was related to some motivational stories, and then I listed it into the Google Play Store. Then I showed this to my director and asked him to give me chance to move as a dev. So after doing the app, he gave me chance to move to dev. So then after that, like I switched to Citrix, and then there I worked in Citrix for around 2 years. Again in two different technologies. 1 year I worked in C Sharp, and 1 year I worked in Salesforce. So then later I was fortunate enough to get into Geo, wherein I got the chance to build an architecture of the whole system from scratch. Uh, Currently, it is doing like 5 to 6 crores of revenue per day. So if you have seen Ajio.com, like whatever you purchase right from the sellers, so I was part of the vendor management system over there. So last 2 weeks back, I joined Microsoft. Yeah, so far that was my journey. Like if anyone is interested into move to IT and all, so one thing I would say is like just start reading about data structures. So that is the one thing that is more important.
Great, Abhinay. Thanks for sharing your experiences. Your journey has definitely been interesting, and I guess congratulations are in order. 2 weeks into Microsoft. Um, okay, now people, I'll be opening the floor to questions. You can raise your hand by going to the participants tab, or you could put them in the chat box. Or what I would prefer is if you could maybe switch on your audio and preferably camera and ask those questions yourself. Yeah, Ashwin, please go ahead.
Hi, Abhinay and Rahul. That was a very nice journey, very nice insight into your journey. Actually, I was actually interested in knowing what exactly, how does your daily, the day looks like as a program manager for Rahul, and what is the because I mean you are a biotechnologist, right? And I'm not sure whether you guys have trained, like that from a bachelor for 4 years. So how do you really manage the competition? And this actually sort of extends also to Abhinay, because you would get a lot of programmers. I mean, in CSE, that's their technical job, but now you're in Microsoft. So how do you guys face the challenges which you have daily in terms of not being in the core field? So maybe Rahul, you could start.
Sure, Ashwin. So I would start off by saying that product management, unless you are a core technical product manager, does not have a lot of dependency of a person knowing software technology in and out. So unlike my colleague here, who I think has more technical knowledge than me working for Amazon, what what is needed, what is demanded from my end is on a day-to-day basis, understand what is a problem that a user is facing and how to solve it. We can take any example, anything in this world. I can call it a product. The most important one that we use on a day-to-day basis probably these days are Zoom and Gmail. So you can take Gmail's example, the way it looks, the way where you click, where you move, how you use Gmail is decided by a product manager. And whenever something changes, that is because a product manager has identified that there is a problem with that particular feature and there is a scope for enhancement. Or for a startup company, the product needs launching and a lot of other activities. So I would again say that my core day-to-day job involves two things: understanding the product, identifying if there is a problem and what that problem is, and the second part is solving that problem. First problem mostly involves us understanding a user behavior, probably discussing with customers directly, having interviews, surveys, speaking with other stakeholders, internal stakeholder like customer success managers, support people, uh, do lots and lots of data analysis and figure out if something is broken or something needs fixing or something needs enhancement from the way it is currently working. Once that is done, then I need to sit with the engineering team and figure out how this can be improved. For that, we take designers' help, uh, uh, come up with mocks to show an engineering team how exactly it can be built. After which, engineering takes it over and delivers it. So uh, typically, I work more than 8 hours every day. Instead of being married and having a newborn kid, that is what it is demanded from my role. Typically, it's not about being in India or being in US. I worked as a product manager in both the places. It's not a typical 9 to 5 job. You have to go out and meet some customers sometimes when it has to be. But since we are in lockdown times, most of these meetings are online, and almost 90% of our customers are either in UK or US. So most of the time in the evenings, in the nights, we schedule those calls, connect with them, understand what the problems they are facing, and in the daytime, typical 9 to 5 job, work with the engineering team, design team to build those mocks to help them develop the product that we have envisioned. So that is how it is. I would say as long as you are good at problem solving, you will definitely fare well as a product manager. And having understanding of technology, which I did when I was working for 4 years with Infosys, definitely helps. But I've seen product managers who came right away from their undergrad or from their MBA and started working at it, and they were also good at it. Like I said, so the most important problem that we do is identify a problem and fix it with the help of various stakeholders. I don't do it alone. It's a completely a team job here. Like I said, there are sales team involved. Sales team comes back and say, this is what the prospects are expecting from the product. Customer success team interacts with the existing customers. They come back saying, this is the problem that they are facing while using the product. So this is then, and support team, lots of support tickets get raised. They come back to us saying, there are XYZ problems that an existing user is facing using our product. That is when I sit, identify, analyze the data, understand the patterns, understand the user experience, and make sure that the product delivers what it promises. So I would like to stop there. If everything made sense till now, Ashwin.
Yeah, sure. That was very insightful. Maybe Abhinay, you could then maybe add a few things, especially about how do you really manage the competition that you might be facing, because your job is technically in the different core altogether, right? I don't think we can hear you, Abhinay. No, I guess.
Still not
Still
audible.
can't hear you.
Maybe it's the earphones, the microphone changes probably when you connect them. I know working from like home, I have also faced similar challenges a
Okay.
lot. Suddenly the microphone stops working and you have to reconnect. Hello. Sorry, man, still not audible.
Okay, maybe he will just reconnect then. Maybe let
Yep,
just move to another question as such.
yep. Rahul, I have a question from my end. Since you have been in this software industry for almost a decade now, uh,
Mhm.
I guess knowledge has been a
Hello.
bit more democratized than it was maybe 5 years, 6 years ago. Non-circuit branch people have been increasingly the knowledge of software has been increasingly available to them at a much cheaper now. It's even free now. So has the landscape in Indian industries changed as well? Like, is there more diversification in terms of non-circuit people joining these industries, or is it still a more circuit branches dominating field?
I would definitely say that it's not dominated by any specific group as such. Uh, the only challenge that you might face is switching it for the first time. But once you move into an industry, no one cares whether you are from a circuit branch or a non-circuit branch. It all comes down to your performance, and absolutely that's it. But there might be specific challenges to make that first step. Uh, but these days, there are a lot of companies. Ashwin spoke about competition, but there are also uh, lots of opportunities, I would say, rather than what it was 10 years back. So it's not only Infosys or TCS who are giving chances to non-circuit uh, graduates anymore. A lot of companies, as long as you can clear those first round of interviews, uh, showcase your in-depth understanding of uh, problem-solving skills. That is what it is, I would say. At least that was at that point in time. But once you cross that line, once you start working for a software company, uh, there is absolutely nothing that would stop you from reaching the heights in software industry.
Great, thanks, Rahul. Abhinay, are you back with us?
Yes. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep. You're perfectly audible. So, Abhinay, I guess you can answer Ashwin's question of your day-to-day life. Other than that, I have another question lined for you while you were gone. So, I guess let's begin with Ashwin's.
Sure. So basically, like even when I joined the company, right, United Health Group, so I was also like under these like same thinking, like okay, so others are ahead of me, and then will I be able to perform correctly or not, or up to the expectation or not? But the thing is like, so all these people like who has learned in their college, right? So it may not be the same thing what we are expected at job. So it will basically add an advantage to us because whatever they are learning in the company, right? So it could be like they'll have to unlearn something what they had learned in their college, and then they'll have to wrap their mind to the new things that is going on in the company. Okay, but for us, since it is fresh, we can imbibe it very easily. Not very easily, let's say put some hard work, then you can imbibe it comfortably. So the thing is like what helped me was like once I was able to build something, some kind of a small demo app or anything small. Start with small, like use array list or take any data structure, and then kind of make some kind of a small demo thing. So that'll basically build up your confidence. Once your confidence is built up, right? So then there is nothing that is going to stop you from competing with others. So right now, see, I have many of my peers who are in Reliance also, who have been graduated from computer science, but they were not able to crack the Microsoft. Okay, but I was fortunately able to crack it. So it's just about the understanding the fundamentals, and then try to improve the fundamentals and the knowledge, and then keep on practicing. That's the thing that you need to do. Nothing else apart from that. Just improve your confidence by doing some small kind of POCs or something like that. Yes.
Thanks a lot for
Great,
that.
awesome. Uh, Nandini, please go ahead with your question.
Uh, Hello. Hi.
Yeah,
So my question is to both of you. As undergraduates, there are so many opportunities, so many job profiles that we never get to hear of. Like if there are very good positions or openings, maybe they don't come to the campus or something like that. So how do you think we can, be on the lookout for them, get to know about them?
I'll go first. I think there is no simple answer to that. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. So what I spoke earlier, Nandini, would help in this aspect as well. Keep networking. It's very, very, very important in professional life. Uh, Stay in touch with your peers. Stay in touch with your seniors and even juniors going forward. And probably be more active on platforms like LinkedIn rather than Instagram and Facebook. Uh, Keep following multiple sources. I think you definitely get to know people. I mean, you'll be following more people. That means you'll have more opportunity to know these kind of things. I would definitely say not for the first job, but after that, it's mostly about referrals. When you grow in your professional career, it's more about getting to know people and getting yourself referred to land with those high profile jobs. uh, Director, senior director, all those jobs generally don't come on job portals, I would say. So keep networking, keep meeting new people, get attract their attention by also being a slight, I would say, not different, but show genuine interest, and you would definitely get what you're looking for.
So like Rahul was mentioning, right? So he was mentioning networking and all. So what you actually need to do is like reach out to your alumni and then peers. So that's one thing that you can do. And there are different kind of portals like Insta Hire, Top Hire. So wherein you can find jobs related to IT or different sections. So we can register there and then keep looking out. So they'll be sending you weekly digest or daily digest emails, as in like you just need to spend 5 to 10 minutes per day, just look out the job descriptions and then see that do you have certain skills that are matching. Even if let's say 50% of the skills that is expected for the job is matching, I would say just go ahead and then apply and then give it a try. And so you can bug any of the seniors or the alumni. So bug them in Facebook or bug them in LinkedIn and all. So probably they might be little pissed, but you for sure, like out of ten you'll get replies from at least 8 of them. So even if they are pissed, like so many people are calling them or whatever is happening, but you'll get responses because you guys are the alumni. So we have that bond. So just that you need to uh, search people and then bug them and then ask for their advice and then probably select a mentor who can guide you through. So at least for the next 1 year or so, like select a mentor like who is senior to you, who has been in that particular path, not only in the IT. If you are looking for abroad internships, bug the people who have done the abroad internships, or like the entrepreneurship, like you can bug Chanukya. So just like that, so you just need to look out for the people who has done before you guys, just bug them. You'll definitely get the results. It's just that you guys need to ask. That's it.
That was very helpful. Thank you, Abhinay. Thank you, Rahul.
uh, so I have another question for you guys. We are running a bit short in time. I'll just ask. So, for people who are planning to join IT software industries, what pointers would you give from your experience that will help them succeed, uh, especially the biotech people?
Did you say land the job?
Sorry, no,
Can you repeat the question? Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, sure. So, what I just wanted to know what tips you would give to someone who's, interested in joining software or IT field after their graduation.
Uh, I would say be good at problem solving skills. Uh, I don't have anything else to add on. Uh, probably Abhinay, do you have more tips?
Okay, so I can recommend one particular course. It's around like some 4 hours course. So once you complete the 4 hour course, right? So it's just about the HTML. So at the end of it, you yourself will be able to. The output would be you yourself will be able to play a game that you have designed it yourself. It just takes 4 hours. So the code would be just around like 35 lines, 35 to 40 lines. So it will basically build up your confidence. Then you can create one GitHub account and then upload it, and then basically you can showcase it to your interviewers and all. So that would basically make an when there is a competition with CS grads, right? So there will be CS people. So where they may not have done any of the projects, and then you coming from a biotech background, and yet you have designed one small game, which is like for you, you just need to put little bit of effort. So that is one thing that you can do, and then you can brush up. Not brush up. Basically, you need to study some of the core data structures, probably not deeper into the like hash maps, trees and all, but you can just read about arrays and then linked lists and queues. Just 2 to 3 topics, the basic topics. Most of the product companies, they'll be focusing on the starting simple data structures like this array list, linked list, and then queues. But when it comes to Facebook, Microsoft and all, then they'll be focusing on graphs, those kind of data structures. So which may not be required at the starting stages. So you can spend some time and then read about arrays, linked list, and I'll refer you this. I'll give you the link to this particular course, wherein like within 4 hours you'll be able to build one HTML game. You can play it simply. So within some 35 to 40 lines, you'll be able to make a game for yourself. So I think that will give you an edge when compared with other students.
Those are some good points there, Vinay. I was not very helpful because I feel old. 10 years ago, we were not expected to write any code to land up with a software job at that point in time. There were only aptitude tests, problem solving tests to understand how good we were in those skill set to start with the software industry. After that, again, it consumes you. You start learning whatever you are in Java. I've seen my friends whom I started off with in Infosys currently heading software departments in startup companies. It must have been a wonderful journey. They stuck to whatever platform that they were to begin with, but I moved out of that. I went and did my MBA, and now I'm into product management. So sorry, I couldn't help much in that aspect.
No, Rahul, in that regard, I'd like to disagree. I guess problem solving would be, I guess, one of the most important aspects of this field, and both of you have been very helpful to all the participants, and I'm sure we'll also be uploading these sessions to YouTube, and it would be helpful for future students to come. And since
Before
I'm
Before
sorry
that
guys, I have to
closes
cut
the
this.
session, I have one more small question. I'm so sorry.
Fire off, but I think we had a hard stop at 7:10, but okay, we can make
Okay,
time for one
it's
last.
a really simple question. What
Okay.
language do you suggest a beginner to start coding with? I mean, what is the most industrially acceptable or useful language? There are so many people who say Java, some say Python. So, if there was one language that I should learn, what would it be?
I would
You
let Abhinay go
want to take
first.
that? Okay. So since you guys have been like already programming in Perl, right? So you must be having like at least a little bit of knowledge in Perl. So if I'm assume correctly, you still have bioinformatics course, and then you must be doing at least something in Perl programming, right? So for you to start off with, I would suggest go ahead with Python. You don't really need to understand about classes, structs, all those things. Just that with simple lines of code, you'll be able to build something. So I can give you another course wherein like again like this is how I learned it. So with some 1 week time and then spending like 1 hour per day, I was able to design small games using Python itself. I had no idea I'll be able to do that much. So it was very interesting course and all. So it would hardly be take you like 3 to 4 hours to spend the time. But you will be able to understand the core concept, what it is about, and then why we are using ArrayList, or like what exactly is ArrayList and all. So I think that will be helpful. On my end, like I need to provide you two links to the courses, one for the HTML game and another for the Python. So I would say like you can go ahead and start with Python. Then once you're comfortable with Python, then you can go ahead and start with like C++ or Java, which are like object-oriented programming. So that would be very helpful when you're transitioning in, when you're starting from nothing, what you don't know, and then coming to deal with complex things in the software industry.
All right. Thank you.
I don't think I can beat that answer. It was very precise. I was able to say start with Python and go to Java, but yeah, I think what Abhinav said absolutely makes sense.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining for this session. I'll now be handing it over to Ashwin. Ashwin, it's all yours now.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, actually, for all the 4 speakers. They were really motivating, especially from the entrepreneurship part, and also, how do you deal with all the competition, how to prepare yourself for the next steps, be it as a programmer or as an entrepreneur or as a program or a product manager. It was pretty insightful for all of us. And the point is that, as Abhinay already gave a lot of pointers, and also Rahul mentioned quite a few things, and same goes with Chanukya and Surabhi. The main thing is that one thing which we could take home is we need to network, and we need to share the things that we know to our juniors. For that itself, maybe again, because we have a very dynamic audience right now, I would again like to mention about the website that we have, the bionetwork.org, which I've just put in the chat. Please just go over there. And we have a resources sections coming up soon. And I'm pretty sure, for example, as Nandini wanted to learn more about the resources, Abhinay, you could share those resources over there. And please be in touch with us so that we can, make such things available soon.